Hey everyone, it's Risa G in her cluttered kitchen, coming in for another Tip Tuesday. This one has a question with it. What do you do with your scraps? Now, these days they want you to use up your scraps so that you don't put it into the garbage, you don't put things into the whole sanitation world. You don't want it piling up. You don't want it causing methane gas and all that stuff. I've been doing a few things the last few years that I thought I'd let you know about because they're a really good tip to preserving your scraps, not putting them into the garbage, and using them for good. So the first one has to do
Please.
Okay, the first one has to do with these guys, scallions. Now, everybody just cuts off the end and then cuts it all up and you use it. But what do you do with those ends? You realize that you can grow scallions from those roots. You just put them in a little water in the sun, in a jar, a little glass. I usually do it in this little juice glass. And I cut them up for a few days, and then I put them in. It's been about a little over a week, and look at this. Now, what I do is, in the springtime, I take a planter outside on the deck, and I put some soil in, and I plant them. And I do that for about a month or so, and the next month, I have scallions that I can pick right from my garden. That's one, and I've been doing this a very long time. Been doing this a couple of years now. Last summer, I put them in in just like that. I planted them, and all summer long, I was able to snip, and cook with them, which was great. I didn't have to go out and buy any more scallions. Now, this, of course, only works like I've found 2 or 3 times. So once you use the new scallion and you have your little end there and you plant it again, you might get another one, but it might be a little shorter, and then the third time a little shorter. So I just use it about 2 or 3 times, and then I just end up throwing it out. But it lasts me probably the whole summer. I do it with a whole bunch of scallions, and then I wait a week or two, and I start picking them, and it lasts me quite a while. All right, so that's one, scallions. What do you do with your eggshells? Most people just throw them out. I grind them up, and I put them in my soil so that the slugs hate them, and they will not go in your garden if you put eggshells, around your plants. It scratches the bottom of their bodies, and I've been told it kills them. And who wants a slug in the garden? Ooh, they make holes in your food. They kill off all your vegetables. It's terrible. All right. The third one, K-cups, a scourge on humanity, according to some people. Because yes, it does end up in the garbage, and that's terrible. So what I do, at least to make myself feel a little bit better, and it works pretty well, is you've heard of espresso rubs. Now most people do it with just plain old coffee, you know, from a bag. I take the coffee out of the K-cups. I take off the top. That part I throw in the garbage. And then I put it on a cookie tray, and I let it dry out about a week. And then I mix it with chilies and cumin and things like that, and I make a chili rub for my steaks, for my ground beef, for pork loin. It's terrific. Now, what do you do with the outside of a lemon? Most people just, juice it and throw it out. I don't. First, I grate off all of the outside, and the zest. That's the first thing I do. And I collect it in little ice cube trays, and after a while, and I put it in the freezer, and after a while you have a little bit of lemon zest. So if a recipe calls for a teaspoon of lemon zest, you don't have to go out and buy lemons. You have some in the freezer. Same thing with the juice. Sometimes I buy up bags of Meyer lemons. They're not easy to find around here. I happen to love them because they're a little bit sweeter, not so sour and bitter as some lemons could be. And I juice them. I buy the bag, I zest the whole thing, and I let that dry, or I put it in the freezer, and then I juice them. And the same thing, I pour the juice into an ice cube tray, and I freeze it. And that way, when the recipe calls for Meyer lemon juice, I have it. So that's another one. Potatoes. Now, not these little teeny ones, but like the russet potatoes. And you have all those peels. After you peel them for mashed potatoes, and you have all those peels, most people throw out the peels. You don't have to. You can fry them and make almost like a French fry, like a snack. You know, you can do, I've seen it in restaurants on vacation once. I saw potato skin nachos. Why not? It's a great base for any kind of flavor, and it makes a great bar snack. You just fry them in a little bit of oil, or now in these air fryers, you season them, you put them in for a minute or two on 400, you have a snack. There you go. And then what about chicken skin? We throw that out. You know what I do with it? I fry it up, and I use it as a garnish on salads, or I put it into a sandwich as a crunchy element. It's delicious. And also I've read that in Australia they have a product called chicken salt, which is basically dried up, dehydrated chicken skin that's seasoned and put in jars. I think it sounds delicious. Anyway, so those are my ideas, my tips for using up scraps. If you have any other great tips on using up scraps, let me know in the notes underneath, the comments underneath, and maybe we'll do another scrap edition of Tip Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, and press that button, that little bell. And also check me out on other social media. Thanks for coming into Risa's Cluttered Kitchen. Bye.